Immortal Souls follows Danhual, who was cursed from birth by the mythical Bulgasal. Tormented his whole life, he seeks to destroy this monster, but the monster instead steals his soul and turns him into the Bulgasal. In the advent of the Joseon period, Korea struggles with internal strife, foreign invaders, and mythical monsters. Mythical monsters that hunt and devour people in the night. Herein lies the crux of our story. Our main character, Danhual, grows up to be a military officer and is tasked to hunt down every monster in the land. He's entangled with a mysterious woman who happens to be a Bulgasal, the cause of his curse.
Now, on a quest for vengeance, he torments the human who turned him through countless reincarnations over 600 years. After surviving an attack, Min Sung-eun must now live her life being chased by this very curse. If you love fantasy thrillers such as Arthdal Chronicles and Sweet Home, then buckle up and get ready for what seems to be a great drama to kick off the holidays and into the new year.
What's up, Sunday fam? Welcome back to another video. We have a new K-drama for you guys on Netflix. It's called, as we were talking, Bulgasal Immortal Souls. So right out of the gate, there's some similarities to My Country and Arthdal Chronicles and Sweet Home, but I have to say that this show is starting out really great in the first 2 episodes.
It starts off very mysterious and somewhat fantastical. I mean, there are monsters in this world, and it's not just like your typical period costume drama that comes out of Korea, right? But there is like legends and mythical monsters and beasts. It's very close to like Monster Hunter or
Witcher.
The Witcher is probably as close as you can get to it.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Bulgasal, it actually comes from a Korean folklore legend, Bulgasari, which is about an imaginary monster that feeds on metal scraps, but the more you try to kill it, the more it doesn't die, hence the name Bulgasari, which means impossible to kill.
So there's a lot of things that could be confusing about the first 2 episodes, right? So like the Bulgasal, who is immortal, like what happens to them? So before we get to that explanation, let's recap the first 2 episodes. What happens is very interesting because he's cursed from birth.
And it affects his family, like his son is born with blindness, and his wife, when, you know, giving birth prematurely to his second child, it's just, there's no reprieve for him or his family with this curse following him.
And the general that adopted him, you know, he was warned. He was warned in the very beginning that the curse is gonna follow him. It's not gonna be a very good life. So at the end of episode 1, his wife dies, his son dies, and therefore he confronts the Bulgasal finally, where she kills him, or so it seems that he dies.
Right, she steals his soul through the sword, and, you know, her fingers that were claws turned into humans, and according to that witch or that crone, she steals his soul and becomes human, and is then like dies a human and is destined to reincarnate throughout the ages. And so now Danhual is the Bulgasal himself.
But he also makes a promise to his dying father that he cannot feed on human blood, and so that's almost like Blade, or like what is another comparison to that?
Demon Slayer, Nezuko, who's a demon who can't feed on human blood, which creates an interesting dynamic because we see him throughout history feeding on horses. We fast forward in time where the presumed reincarnation of this woman is in twin sisters, and they get attacked at night. And you know, I'm thinking back at that promise and I'm just like, it doesn't look like Danhual. You know, I think the crux of this show and the way it's going to turn out is that Danhual is going to become a protector from other monsters, right?
I agree
that's
with
definitely
you.
not him.
Yeah, I agree with you, because set in this world right now, and like legends and folklore, like monsters die and reincarnate as well, and so those are going to be running around doing their things looking for this soul. Like it seems like monsters are hunting for souls, I guess, for a way for them to either live or get stronger, or we don't know yet. In some way, some shape or form, something about the souls either help them to move on or just kind of finally rest, right? And so we don't know the particular details about like how that works yet, but there are other monsters that get reincarnated.
Now we do know something. If we go back to Korean folklore, as I was reading about the Bulgasari, the actual origination of the legend came from the late Goryeo period, where in fact paintings or wall scrolls of the Bulgasari was actually in buildings to help prevent people from monsters. And so now it makes sense that, given the promise he's made to his father, that perhaps maybe he is in fact going to become a protector.
And I love that because it seems like there has to be some kind of romantic link between the two, right?
Yeah.
At the end of episode 2, well, not at the end of the episode 2, before episode 2 ends, someone comes in and kills one of the sisters and the mother. But like, I don't think that was Dunhual.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And judging from the exposition in the beginning when he is saying, I've been waiting for you for 600 years, the tone is not vengeful. It is very longing. It's like, I've been waiting for you. Even though his mission starts off as, you know, hunting her down over her reincarnations, it feels like that's not going to be the way it plays out.
Now, we were talking about this because they were born twin sisters or reincarnated into two people, that the soul has been split in two or something like that. The one is already dead, and then the currently in present time Ming Sung-un is
Dunhual's soul.
because the other sister is dead. We're having this theory that it was her soul that died with her, but then the other twin sister is still carrying Dunhual's soul. And so like him becoming a protector seems a little bit more fitting in terms of what's going to happen with the story.
Yeah, let me break it down for you. So the original Bulgasal steals Dunhual's soul and becomes a human again and dies a human, and thus Dunhual becomes Bulgasal himself. Fast forward to where we are with the twin sisters. I feel like that is the woman reincarnated with her soul and Dunhual's soul split. And in that incident, that attack, the woman's soul was destroyed or killed, and Dunhual's soul survived. And thus, when Dunhual comes in for his like vengeful agenda, he realizes that he has to keep her alive because that is his soul, and he needs his soul to not be the Bulgasal anymore.
나의 원한을 내 혼을 기억할 것이다. 나도 아는 것 같아. 나도 아는 것 같다고. 네 혼의 냄새. 네 혼의 냄새.
But if he ends up taking back his soul, then that person will obviously die, right? Like that's kind of just like, how does this
weird.
how is this all gonna work? Because I think it's a continuous cycle. The original Bulgasal is chasing somebody who's cursed so that Bulgasal can finally die in peace or finally die
their
as a
soul
human.
back?
Yeah, and you know it's kind of like, hey, I need my soul back. It's just like a constant revolving door of taking each other's souls, right?
So I think what needs to happen at the end of this series or at the end of the day is that Min Sung-un has to sacrifice herself for Dunhual, and Dunhual doesn't have to steal back the soul. So when I run this through in my head in terms of theory crafting, her sacrificing herself for Dunhual means he gets his soul back and she gets to die a human still. And I think the revolving door thing is a Bulgasal taking the soul instead of being given it.
Oh, that is interesting. And then you break the cycle. That's interesting. But we haven't met any of the new characters that are going to unfold here. There's like 14 more episodes. So I'm really curious to see who is the foil, who's going to be the new bad guys, what kind of monsters are going to be reincarnated. And then it's just going to be, they're going to fall in love at some point.
My current theory is that the foil is going to be the reincarnation of the soldier that had it out for him. You know, the one that killed his father.
Oh, that's interesting. He's
gotta return.
That guy needs to die.
Yeah, he's a douche. But in any case, the show is proving to be quite interesting thus far, and we are looking forward to following it week after week. If you've seen the show, then leave a comment in the comment section below and let us know what you think. But that'll do it for our first impressions of Bulgasal, Immortal Souls. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment, share, do all that good stuff and help us out. But as always, this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you next time.